What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today with my second week of college football top 25. So first week's officially in the books. Florida State victorious over Ole Miss tonight. So officially wraps up week one. So let's go ahead and start with the five outside. So in no particular order. Start with the Oregon Ducks. So a little bit of a struggle against UC Davis. Not too much. Not too much to take away from that game. For me, it's just I'm worried about Oregon's defense for this year. Oregon has regressed pretty much every year since Chip Kelly left, and really since Marcus Mariota left. So we'll see what happens with Oregon this year. At number 4, I got Boise State. I believe their first big test really is this week against Wazoo, who lost to Eastern Washington last week. So. Could have a good opportunity for a Power 5 win there. San Diego State, again, 1-0. Heading into this week, I fully expect San Diego State to at least be able to make a push to get into the top 25. I believe they were like number 34 or 35 in the AP last week, so we'll see what happens this week with the AP poll. Number 2, UCLA. Lost to Texas A&M. Rough game for Josh Rosen and the entire UCLA team. I thought that Texas A&M was going to win the game in the first place, but I thought that UCLA would be able to put up a little bit of a better effort. And then number 1, North Carolina. Decent effort. Offense didn't look as good as I was hoping for, but I think they just ran into a really good Georgia team. I still think North Carolina is going to be a good team this year. So let's move into the top 25. At number 25, we got the Florida Gators. And Florida coming off a win against UMass where, I expected them to be a little bit better, but at the same time, it was Luke Del Rio's first game. The defense showed out the way you would expect them to. And, it was a game that Jalen Tabor, their best defensive player, maybe the best player overall, was suspended for. So I'm fine with it. I'm not going to overreact to them winning by not as much as they probably should have. But again, I'm high on Florida this season, so knee-jerk reaction hasn't really taken place with me yet. So, number 24, and this might be the biggest fall of all, and that's LSU. Just not looking good, man. Coming into the season ranked number 5, expected a lot. I even expected more out of them. I thought they could at least handle Wisconsin, but stack the box, don't let Fournette run on you, and then you'll probably be fine. That's pretty much the motto that you can take away from the end of last season for LSU and then the beginning of this season. So, number 23, and a team that I was very impressed by in week 1, and that's the Miami Hurricanes, a team that might actually be competitive this year in, I believe it's the ACC Coastal Division. I need to make sure on that. I'm going to sound like a retard if that's wrong. Yeah. All right. So, like I said, I think they will be competitive this year. Came with an impressive 70-3 victory in the first week, one of the biggest blowouts there was in the first week of games. So, number 22, got the Texas A&M Aggies. I talked about them with UCLA a little bit earlier. Winning 31-24. Good game for Trevor Knight. I think the biggest thing for this game was the fact that just Texas A&M's defense was really good. Like, they were the best I've seen them in a while. The point of the game for me was Trevor Knight won't have to do that much. Like, as long as he's a serviceable quarterback this year that's efficient, can manage the game well, I think he could be a very effective quarterback for Texas A&M this year. Number 21 got the Baylor Bears and showed that they'll be. It was Northwestern State, granted, but showed that they'll probably be all right. I know what was a 55-7 victory. Seth Russell was really able to spread the ball around. Shock Linwood almost got 100 yards. So we'll see what happens when Baylor kicks off their conference schedule against Oklahoma State. That'll really be the first tough test. Number 20, TCU, a team that I was just not impressed by. 59-41 victory against South Dakota State, a team that beat Kansas to kick off the season last year. And wait, no, was that South Dakota State? Either South Dakota State or it was one of the Dakotas that wasn't North Dakota State. But like I said, just not. Kenny Hill was okay. He was a little erratic. I was expecting a little bit better, 2 turnovers. And the defense just wasn't good. The TCU was supposed to have maybe the best defense in the Big 12 this year. And, they might still, but didn't start off well at all. So, number 19 got the Wisconsin Badgers. And a team that I thought was still going to be good this year like I said, a lot of people didn't give them that much respect this year, even as low as 6 wins I saw from some people, and I just don't think that's going to happen. Number 18 got Oklahoma State, so 61-7 victory, able to spread the ball around very well. Running game looked improved, offensive line looked improved, so that's good. Number 17, Notre Dame. Defense did not look great, but offense looked fine. Deshaun Kaiser looked very good. They just ran into a good Texas team that was in a spirited fight. I've already talked about that game plenty, though. So at number 16, got the Iowa Hawkeyes. Team that I don't really know what to take away from week 1. They were able to beat a FBS team by 24, so nothing to really overthink there. But number 15 got Michigan State, a team that looks like very similar to last season with the fact that they could not put away bad teams. I believe, what was it, a 28-13 victory over Furman? Just not good. Tyler O'Connor was okay. The offense just not very good. I didn't watch too much of the game. I watched a little bit of it, but like I said, growing pains for Michigan State, I think, is going to be a big thing this year. So number 14 got the Ole Miss Rebels. Man, they crapped the bed. 28-6 lead at one point. Just completely gave it up. 30 straight, or I believe it was like 30 points for 30 straight points for Florida State at one point, and Florida State ended up coming away with the victory, 45-34. Ole Miss still looked all right. Chad Kelly looked like he'll be fine. The receiving core looked very good, but like I said, just couldn't finish the game. So at number 13 got Texas Longhorns. I've seen some of the top 25 rankings have Texas as high as like number 7 and number 8, and I'm just not ready to put them up that. I think 13 is already pretty high. You do want to have the knee-jerk reaction there that Texas football is back, but we'll see in the coming weeks. They got some tough tests coming up, and if they are able to take care of UTEP and Cal in the coming weeks and not just put them away, but put them away cleanly, then yeah, I think it'll be time to maybe talk about them being in the top 10. So at number 12 got Oklahoma. So again, some people have Oklahoma lower than I do. Again, I'm not gonna jump the gun here. I get it. When Oklahoma's ranked in the top 5, they lose the opening game. It can be a landslide from then on out. But I think Oklahoma's going to be able to get it together and at least string together a couple wins. I mean, this is still one of the most talented teams in the Big 12, if not the most talented. So at number 11, got the Louisville Cardinals, a team that looked very, very good in week 1. Lamar Jackson with 8 touchdowns in the first half alone. Just absolutely demolishing Charlotte. So I'm not going to jump the gun on Louisville quite yet. Lamar Jackson, obviously very impressive, but it's Charlotte, probably the worst team in the FBS. So we'll see what happens when they're able to play a very, very good team. Again, I think this is definitely a team that will give Florida State and Clemson a test, though. So at number 10, we got the Washington Huskies. Again, another team that looked very good in week 1. I believe it was a 48-13 victory over Rutgers. Let me see if I can find that score right quick. Jake Browning looked good, 3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. John Ross looked good. Myles Gaskin didn't get too much work, but like I said, Washington looking like that. Looking like they might be able to meet the hype. Again, it's Rutgers, so I'm not going to jump the gun on anything. Number 9, Tennessee, and some people are going to have Tennessee lower. I'm going to wait until the Virginia Tech game to make any real judgments on it. App State, in my mind, still a good team. Granted, Tennessee did not look good against App State. Like I said, they could be in trouble. They could be in big trouble. We'll see. At number 8, I got the Georgia Bulldogs. Right now, in my mind, at least, the clear SEC's favorites. Very impressive victory against North Carolina. Nick Chubb looked fantastic. One of his best games since he came to college. Defense looked very good. Kirby Smart managed the game very well. Victory over a very solid North Carolina team. So Georgia was one of the most impressive teams, I think, in week 1. So in number 7, got the Houston Cougars, and I don't know why. I have a gut feeling that they're going to end up losing a game in the AAC this year, but granted, for the time being, very impressive victory over the number 3 team in the country. So you got to take that with what you can. If they win out, then they make the college football playoff. I think that's pretty clear. Number 6, got the Stanford Cardinal. Good victory against Kansas State in week 1. Defense showed up very well. Christian McCaffrey looked good. He was halted for most of the game. But it was able to break free on some very impressive runs, including sealing the game on what was like a 40 or 50 yard rushing touchdown. Also, had one of the best punt returns I've ever seen on a punt return for a touchdown. It was like 95-yard return. That ended up getting called back, but either way, it was still impressive. And number 5, got the Michigan Wolverines. Again, impressive in a 63-3 victory against Hawaii. Defense looked just unbelievable. Chris Evans was very solid on the ground, Wilton Spate, and the time that he did have 13 attempts, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns. Looked good. So at number 4, got the Ohio State Buckeyes. Again, dispatched of a Bowling Green team that, last year was actually a very good team. JT Barrett, very good, 349, 6 touchdowns. Mike Weber looked very good as well. Curtis Samuel looked good. So Ohio State's a team that you got to take seriously this year. There's no doubt about it. Number 3, got Florida State. Didn't look good in the first half, but DeAndre Francois ended up putting it together at the in that little 30-point run they went on. Defense ended up pulling it together very well also. So Florida State able to get by what might be one of their biggest tests of the season, if not their biggest, maybe beside Clemson. So number 2, got Clemson Tigers. Not great in week 1. Auburn's defense was good, but at the same time, Clemson's offense just not very good. Expected better out of what I thought coming into the season might have been the most talented offense in the country. I think Clemson will be able to get it together, but the receivers I was hoping were going to be a little bit better. It just seemed like the offense just didn't have quite the right chemistry yet. Mike Williams has been out for so long that I think it might take a little while for him and Deshaun Watson to be able to get back on the same page completely. Wayne Gallman looked good at times. Like I said, Auburn's defense played well. The offense didn't play great. That is a game that Auburn very easily could have won, though. So at number 1, got Alabama. This is clear. Like, at this point, this is a clear number 1. They just demolished USC. They just derailed them in almost every sense of the word. And a 53-6 victory? Let me see if I can find the recap here. It was, I watched the game for the first half, and then it just started getting real ugly. 52-6. Jalen Hurts looked good. Damian Harris looked good. Ardarius Stewart looked good. Alabama just looked like a superior team in every sense of the word. We'll see what happens moving forward. But USC, while I don't think they're a great team, they're still a very good team. So there was no way that I think they were going to get beat by almost 50. All right, so that'll pretty much do it for this video. This will begin a large amount of college football videos that will be coming up in the next day or two. Like I said, I'm going to be doing my picks against the spread, my college football playoff predictions. I'm thinking about doing a college football week 1 recap, at least talking about Florida State and Ole Miss. We'll see if that happens, but it's such a heavy day of videos that it just might not get to it. And then also got, what is it? I'm going to do my first mock draft of the year tomorrow, like the first official one. But anyway, that's pretty much it. See ya.